The Chicago Bears left tackle competition has just taken another wild turn, and I've got a comparison to this Kyler Gordon situation that I think we've kind of reached levels of. We'll talk about all that and more in today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Let's go. Now, if you are new to the channel, please hit that like button. Please subscribe to the page. Do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. Only channel talk Chicago sports. How Chicago talks. So make sure that you stay in tune with us, man. Let's start off with kind of an update that we got to the left tackle competition. Now, as Ben Johnson spoke today, and he talked about how the order of how things is going to go, you're going to see Braxton Jones get out there with the ones, which we did, and then you're going to see Theo Benedet rotate in with the ones and play with the twos, and I'll kind of let you guys know how that went, on top of course, Ozzy being on his own timeline trying to get himself back to playing order. But you know, as I listened to that, and me and Courtney talked about this on yesterday's, or on today's, I should say, Chicago Bears podcast. Tune in with that if you want to get her thoughts on this as well. We're running out of spots, especially if guys aren't left tackles, because the update that we got from Ben Johnson as well is that Kiran Amegadjie and Jedrick Wills are going to now be trying to slot in at the right tackle spot and hopefully compete maybe for that swing tackle position. And that kind of is Theo Benedet. Now, if you want to talk about somebody who I guess could fit in, maybe you're still having a conversation with Kiran on that. But are we 2 points with this left tackle competition? And let me know in the comments below how you guys feel, where Jedrick and Kiran are odd man out and both could potentially be cut by the time we get to cut down day and as we head into the season. Now, of course, you could keep one on practice squad, but when I went through my notes and I looked at, you know, kind of what I thought this Bears team, as far as O-linemen, were going to keep, you instantly go to, okay, you know, you're keeping, of course, your starting five here. Let me pull this up real quick. Should have had this up already, and give me a second. Training camp notes. Okay, so I checked everybody off. So Logan Jones, Darnell Wright, Joe Thuney, Garrett Bradbury, Braxton Jones. You know, those are five that are automatically going to be on the team, probably no matter what. Ozzy Trapilo is 6. Theo Benedet is 7. Jonah Jackson is 8. And I would say Luke Newman is probably 9. Now, my expectation is that they will keep 10 offensive linemen as they head into this season. And so there is still a spot available for one of these guys to compete on. But now the conversation that you're having is Kiran Amegadjie and Jedrick Wills, who have neither played the right tackle position. Neither of them really have played a ton of guard. And so as far as one of those linemen that are going to slot in, do we really think that that's going to be the spot that they're best suited for? Like, they're both left side guys. All of a sudden now you have a week and a half, 2 weeks to kind of learn an entirely new position. I get it. If you want to make this team, that's the conversation. But kind of where I'm at with this and what I think the reality of this is going to end up being is you could see both of these guys end up cut by the time we get to the end of this training camp, by the time we get to the end of preseason. I think that that's a very real possibility right now. And it's one that, you know, when you look at what the Bears are looking for, you need somebody who, yes, they have the talent, but also knows where to be and how to go out there and play on the field. For Kiran Amegadjie, yeah, it was fine in the preseason game, right? Jedrick Wills, I guess, had the 1 sack, but it just felt like they were bodies out there. That's what it comes down to me. And so when you have a conversation around where do they slot in on the team, I don't think either of them slot in as a swing tackle. Neither of them, like I said, have played the right side. You could keep an extra left tackle because of the conversation around Theo being the swing tackle, but this is where this development gets very interesting. Braxton Jones got out there, and maybe he was on a pitch count, or, you know, what, maybe Ben liked what he saw more with Theo out there. I would lean probably more towards the pitch count. They were in pads today. And so first day in pads, you're getting to see kind of what Braxton is able to do and what he isn't able to do. Braxton looked fine out there. He looked solid. And but for most of the day, Theo Benedet got just about all of the starting left tackle snaps and was out there pretty consistently with Caleb Williams and the first team offense. Now, Theo Benedet was somebody who took over for Braxton, and so you know that he knows the system. You know that he has the talent to go out there and at least be solid. Very similar conversation to what we have had about Braxton Jones. And, you know, if you want to pick one over the other, maybe you feel Theo has the advantage because he's already won that job at that left tackle position before, but that was during the season. Braxton ended up winning it out of camp because nobody was truly ready at that spot. So, like, I think there's a lot of tough parts at play there, but seeing Theo get majority of those first team reps, you probably feel more comfortable going into the season with a guy in Ozzy Trapilo who, by the way, unless you're going to put him back on short-term IR or put him back on the PUP list when you get into the season, which I don't think you're going to do. He's out there. He's moving. He's going through kind of the individuals period where they're working with just the position groups. He looks like he's moving pretty well. Now, that doesn't mean he's in football shape, but I don't think you're going to take him back off of the roster. So are you telling me you're going to keep 4 legitimate left tackles and one who probably, like I said with Theo, he could win that job just with the talent that he has, and now you need a swing tackle type of guy? That's probably early on Ozzy, I guess, in that situation. It just doesn't feel like there's a spot to put Jedrick Wills, to put Kiran Amegadjie, because I need you need the talent, but you also need to know what you're doing. Right now, it feels like Jedrick has the talent, but he doesn't quite know everything he needs to know at this point. And for me with Kiran, I just don't think Kiran has the talent. I think Kiran knows the system. He knows where he's supposed to go. But Kiran gets moved, and he gets moved too often. He gets moved too easy. Again, let me know how you guys feel down in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you guys as well. Do you think there's a real chance that Jedrick and Kiran are both removed from this team if we go through with the process? Kind of how I feel it's going to be: Braxton, Theo, and then Ozzy. And then once Ozzy gets healthy, that's the guy that you want in the mix. So on top of all of that, you also have some of the struggles of Kiran, who was out there at right tackle today. It did not look great, and he left practice yet again with some kind of tweak. I don't know if it's something that's going to be long lasting or not, but he walked off under his own power. On the flip side of that, Theo Benedet, a guy who got banged up, it looked like pretty early in practice, kept shooing the trainers away. Kept going, get away. I think it was something he was dealing with the right ankle, but every time a trainer would come over to him, he would limp off onto the sidelines, he would get him a shot of water, and he would head back onto the field. Because Theo has the right mindset. He has that mindset of like, bro, if I give this spot up, I may never get it back because there are other guys that legitimately play left tackle. Right now, I'm winning this competition. They have moved everyone else out of this competition, and you're telling me that I don't have to worry about Jedrick. I don't have to worry about Kiran on the left side at all anymore. Yeah, I'm not giving my spot up. And so I think that mindset is something that Ben Johnson is going to rock with as well. And that's going to help him in the long run. Again, let me know how you guys feel down in the comments below. I'll be down there talking with you guys as well. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. How do you think this left tackle competition plays out? Now, I want to get to the story that probably is the one that everybody is going to be talking about as we continue through these weeks, and you're continuing to wait for a guy that his teammates are making it a lot harder on him. The Kyler Gordon updates at this point are basically just get healthy, and I don't care to say anything else about it. But Dion asked Kyler Gordon today about the potential, or I'm sorry, asked Ben Johnson today about a timeline potentially on Kyler Gordon. There is still no timeline. She asked him, is he in the building? Are you seeing him? He says he sees him every day. And she asked him, is he progressing the right way? And Ben's just like, yeah, he's going through his rehab. But you can feel the frustration off of Ben. Ben is not a coach who is going to sit there and not tell you anything to protect a player. Ben is the kind of coach that he already went through. We got to build a trust with him. He's got to be trustworthy. We have to improve our, to get him back on the field, but also he has to remain on the field. And Ben's kind of just shut down about Kyler Gordon. And you know what? I thought about it. And I thought about a similar situation previously in Chicago that we have seen. And I would say the Kyler Gordon situation is very, very similar to the Derrick Rose situation that happened here. Because look at what's happening around Kyler right now. Dio Adangbo, who, blew his leg out last year, is back on the field. Whether you feel like he's good or not, he powered through his rehab, and he is back on the field making plays. That's one strike. Ozzy Trapilo who we didn't think was going to play. And it's not just us. The Bears didn't think that he was going to play this year. When we were talking to them at coaches meetings and we were talking to them in minicamp, they were talking about Ozzy as if, the hope is right now that we're going to be able to get him back before the playoffs. And maybe, after the playoffs, maybe he misses the whole season, whatever it is. They thought Ozzy was not going to be out there. And Ozzy Trapilo is back on the field, moving pretty well. That's strike 2. And then you pair that up with TJ Edwards, whose foot literally was facing the wrong direction. And he's back on the field, starting in games and being a lead linebacker for that first team defense. That's strike 3. And you know what? Dare I say, it feels like Kyler Gordon might be out. You're still on the sideline. Not to say that it doesn't hamper you, not to say it doesn't hold you back, but you're still on the sideline with a soft tissue injury. There are guys that had literal ligaments ripped off of their body and ripped apart that are back on the field right now. And it reminds me of, remember the Derrick Rose year? Adrian Peterson came back from his ACL within like 6 or 7 months. It was absolutely insane, very similar to this. And everybody started looking and going, okay, where's Derrick? And that's a different sport. So you go, well, he's a different beast. He's a different animal. And then you saw Russell Westbrook come back from his ACL injury, and he was back on the court, and he was making an impact early in the season. And you go, okay, where's Derrick? And you started looking around at all of these guys who had very similar injuries or worse injuries to what Derrick Rose was dealing with. And I get it. It's not apples to apples. There's a mindset that goes in there. And I would say that Derrick Rose wanted to get himself back, but couldn't get over some of the mental things that went into that. But maybe that's the point that we're at with Kyler. And if it is, Ben Johnson's not waiting for you. Ben Johnson is not going to sit and look at you and say, well, it's okay. You take as much time as you need because we're going to wait on it. They don't have the time to. And I think if it was at all possible right now, without the dead cap, the Bears probably would be looking to move on from a guy like Kyler right now with everything else that is going into this. Now, with all that being said, we know the talent that Kyler Gordon is. We know what Kyler can do when he's actually on the field. But the hope is that you can get him on the field and keep him on the field. And that just hasn't been a reality right now. And you can't build your team off of hope. And I think that's kind of the point that we're starting to get to with a lot of this. If I'm Ben Johnson and I'm the head coach of this team, and I'm not saying, right, like, guys are going to deal with soft tissue injuries. By the way, there are guys that have dealt with soft tissue injuries in this camp this year that are back from those soft tissue injuries already. So unless like Ben knows, like, yeah, Kyler was like inches away from tearing something, or he was inches away from snapping something off of the bone, I think that as a head coach, you probably got to be feeling a little bit like, listen, dude, like everybody else has made it back in record time and you're still on the sidelines and we haven't even been able to utilize you on the defensive side from last season to this season. And remember, this is not Ben's guy. This is not DA's guy. This is a guy that was a holdover from the previous regime. And we have seen how that has gone in the building over 1 year. Do not be surprised if Kyler Gordon, coming up the next season, is an odd man out player. And I wouldn't be surprised if at the point we're at right now with Kyler Gordon, if the Bears are literally just like, for the love of God, let's get him back on the field so that we can move on from him at some point. Because we cannot trust that he is going to be available for us moving forward, and I'm not going to deal with this. You think Ben Johnson is going to deal with this going into the next training camp? 110% not. I would bet any amount of money on that. And to me, I think that you're now at this point where, very similar to what it was with Derrick Rose, where you just went, okay, we're moving on. We're going to have to find talent at that position. Malik Muhammad has played it solid. I'm not going to say he's played it great, but he is showing you flashes that he has an ability to play that position. If I've got a rookie who's making a heck of a lot less money that I can go out there and utilize on a day in, day out basis, I'm going to get the most that I can for you. And so that is the part, I think, when you talk about this Kyler Gordon situation and kind of what it has gotten to, where you go, this doesn't just feel like I'm frustrated and one day he'll be back on the field and we'll all get past this. This feels like kind of what this situation is going to be as we continue through. And even if he does get back on the field, that is not somebody that Ben Johnson and Dennis Allen are going to want to hold themselves to over the next couple of years. Let me know how you guys feel down in the comments below. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. I think that that could be something that we're going to be paying attention to even when Kyler finally finally does get back on the field. Do you think that this is similar to the Derrick Rose situation at any point? Now, getting into practice today, and I think, it is fun. It's very fun watching an offense that can go out there and just dominate. Caleb Williams in the first team offense yet again. I mean, play of the day was probably a beautiful pass to Jedrick Walker, left corner of the end zone. Jedrick comes down with it two hands. Should have been Rome Odunze on the play before, but Rome ended up dropping that pass. It was a perfect pass, but Caleb had to go out there. Rome drops it. You got to step back in. You got to make another play. Caleb steps back in. You get Jedrick coming across the middle of the field. He delivers a beautiful 20-plus yard pass on that, drops it in the bucket. Jedrick holds on to it. Touchdown. And the offense just pretty continuously was cooking. It was a very rough day for the defense today. They were doing ones versus twos and on both sides there. And you saw Case Keenum get in because of that Tyson Bagent injury. And Case Keenum was out there tearing the first team defense a new one. The only play that ended up being a rough play or maybe a positive play for the first team defense that I thought we saw was a bad throw by Case Keenum that was just a little bit ahead of, I believe it was Scotty Miller on that play. And it ended up being an interception that goes the other way. Outside of that, the amount of times where Case Keenum was just delivering the football perfectly and Scotty Miller or Sam Roush or Jedrick Walker or whoever you want it to be was coming down with the ball was way too often. It was a very rough day to me for the defense, which gets you excited offensively because we think that's going to be the side of the ball that's going to be very good, but it does make you look a little side-eye at where the defense is at. And you know what? As we get into this second week here of camp, I'll tell you some guys that I'm a little bit concerned about. I'm not going to say that I'm like, oh, it's over, this is going to be bad, but there's a reason that you haven't heard much about Dylan Thieneman. It's because he looks like a rookie who has no idea where he is supposed to be right now. I understand it. He's been put into a role that is a very different role. He's learning the system. This is very much so how the offense looked at last season when they were getting the amount of information that they were getting, right? But there's a lot of times where Dylan Thieneman is on the wrong end of a really, really good pass, or it's a run play, and you need Dylan Thieneman to make a really good angle for a tackle, and he is not making that angle. And I get it. It's just practice. It's early on, but these are the things that are going to show up when you get onto the field and you start to see some tape get put together. My hope right now is that it is just early, and it is just, the rigors of going through being a rookie in an NFL season in a very complex offense and defense, right? And we're seeing it kind of on both sides here. Logan Jones, I think, is another guy that I've looked at probably far too often and gone, okay, you're kind of getting moved around there. Now, it could be because what we're seeing on the other side is so elite, but it's tough when you see Dylan Thieneman and or Logan Jones getting beat that often to just go, that's probably going to be nothing by the time the season gets here. I hope it does. I think that it's something that as the season progresses, you'll see Dylan start to move through, but he looks very much like a rookie who is not used to NFL speed yet and is going up against a high-powered offense. And so I would say concern is the right word to use at this point, as we are now what is this, practice 18 pretty much of this entire thing. Like there's been so many practices at this point. I don't even know which number we're on right now, but like, to me, you have to take everything into account at this point, because you're 2 weeks away, or 3 weeks away, I should say, from playing real football games where he's going to get real reps versus real offenses versus a Carolina offense last year that ran the ball really well. And you're going to need him to take really good pursuit angles on Chuba Hubbard. And you're going to need him to go out there and be able to help you over the top. If you've got Jalen Johnson or Devin Bush, whoever it is, covering on that outside. So I just think that there's some things that you're starting to be like, okay, we're getting a little far into the process. I'm ready to see you make the turn. And maybe we're just on the other side of that. Maybe that joint practice is going to show. Because the other thing is too, right? Caleb now knows what Dylan can and can't do. And his job is to go out there and win. And Caleb looks like he is going to be a star quarterback this season. Star quarterbacks know how to pick you apart. He's attacking Malik Muhammad. He's attacking Dylan Thieneman. He's attacking the spots on the field that he feels he can get away with, and that's smart to do. This joint practice is going to say a lot, but it's a joint practice versus Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, so it's going to be very interesting to see. And I think today was a day, by the way, where this offense was kind of revving themselves up to get ready. I think that this offense was kind of looking at, this joint practice coming, and we're like, we're going to be out there just like we were last year, and we are going to be as physical as we possibly can, because today was arguably the most physical practice, multiple scrums, a lot of hard hits. They did special teams drills, and guys were getting tossed around. Even Coach Hightower ended up on the ground at one point. But today, probably the biggest scrum that we saw today, we saw the offensive line and the defensive line get into it in their one-on-ones. But today we saw Cole Kmet and Austin Booker get into it. And I mean, helmets were being pulled off. They were going at it. You could tell the energy was different around this practice. I wouldn't say it was on the same level as that Tuesday practice from last year. I think that they were a little bit smarter, probably because of a lot of the injuries. And Ben Johnson said, they adjust the tone of practice one way or the other based off of that. But the fact that you're talking about Cole Kmet getting into it with guys, even Ben Johnson early on. I saw Ben Johnson early on yelling at the referee for not blowing the whistle the exact moment that he needed to blow the whistle. And it's just, he's like going at the ref, and I'm like, okay, there's an intensity difference here. And I would say the intensity change felt very much like that Tuesday practice did. I just don't think that it reached those levels. But you could tell the Bears are amping themselves up for this joint practice that is coming on Thursday. I will be down in Cincy for that, so you'll get coverage here. Of course, you'll get coverage on the Chicago Bears podcast. So tap in with everything on both of these podcasts. But man, it felt like today was a day where Ben went, you're going to go at it a little harder. We're going to be a little more aggressive. We're going to get ourselves ready with the right mindset. And when you see Cole Kmet getting involved in it, you know that the temperature's been turned up in the building, which gets me excited as a Bears fan. I'm not going to lie. I don't look at it and go, we don't want to be doing this. We want to play smart. No, it's football. There's sometimes where you need to be aggressive. There's sometimes where you need to be mean. And I love the fact that we're seeing it in training camp. Let me know how you guys feel down in the comments below, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Can't wait to hear from you guys. I will be at the Cubs and Sox game tonight out in the bleachers. Hopefully there are no fights. At a minimum, there will be no desk for me to punch a hole in. But, hey, man, I can't wait to see you guys out there. If you see me out in the bleachers, say what's up. Come say hi. I'm always down for pictures and all that stuff, man. So I appreciate you guys for showing the love that you do and supporting in the manner that you do. Let's just keep it respectful tonight, baby. Yeah, I mean, don't let these white glasses and these jokes fool you. Respect. Hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in to show love as always. It is your boy, Pat the Designer. Back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down. One love. Peace.